Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to look at, we're going to continue on with our unit. We talked about measures of center yesterday. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. So we're going to start off with this example. We're given a table that breaks down James's commission. He sells soap door to door for the past 8 weeks. His total earnings were as follows on this table. So let's see if we can determine the mean and median for James's paycheck. Since we already have our practice sheet, I'm going to go ahead and just do that real quick because it will take me a lot quicker than typing in my calculator or writing these out and finding the median. So if I go here, I can just type those in, type over what I did, 20, 220, 60, 100, 30, 80, 20, 100, and then I want to clear that one out. Okay, so over here I have a mean of 78.75 and a median of 70, and those are both kind of spread out a little bit. And if we look at the rest of our values in here, it does look like it's kind of spread out. I mean, we got 20 here, 30 here, 20 here. Then we have 80 and 60, 100 a couple times, 220. So it's kind of hard to say, I think, on this one. And sometimes when we have a center that is not as insufficient, a summary statistic of spread is often calculated. So spread, the measure of spread, is another summary statistic, which just tells us how much the data is spread out or scattered. The spread of data can be very important. Like if I was expecting tests to range between 60 and 90 and they were between 20 and 70, I mean, that's a pretty different spread, right? And so that would be a little bit concerning in terms of like what I expected to happen. So when we talk about spread, we often divide our data into 4 approximately equal groups, intervals, and the median of each one of these groups are called quartiles. So it kind of looks like this. So 25% of our data is in that first little bucket, 25% is in the second, and then third, and so on and so forth. So we kind of divide it up between a fourth of our data value on each one of these in order from smallest to largest. So these are quartiles, and Q0 is called the minimum value in a data set. So you can say Q0 or minimum, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to show you how to do this in Google Sheets as well, because that's what we're going to get to here in just a second. But in Google Sheets, we've done this before already. You just type equals and then min for minimum, and then you just select the range of data values that you want. To find the minimum of. And then Q1 is our Q1. How we would interpret this is whatever our Q1 value is, we would say that is approximately 25%, or whatever our Q1 value is, that is greater than approximately 25% of the data values. And we would type in equals quartile, select our data range, and then we would have a comma, and then we're going to type in the number 1 for quartile 1. Median, we can type it in 2 ways. We can do like what we just did. Q2 is the median. It's greater than the lower 50% and less than the lower 50. Wait, hold on. Did I say that right? It's greater than approximately 50% of the data and less than approximately 50% of the data. So median, what we talked about yesterday, is part of what we're going to be dealing with today. So we can do that like we did yesterday, do equals median and then select data, or we can say I'm going to do the same thing with quartiles, and that should say an equal before that quartile, equal data values, but then I'm going to do comma 2 because that's my second quartile. Q3, I would say, is greater than approximately 75% of the data that we have. And we would write that as quartile equals quartile data values, comma 3. So the numbers that I have with a comma, that's what quartile we're talking about. And then lastly, Q4 or maximum is the maximum value of the data set. So, and just like with minimum, we just do max instead of min and select the data range, and it will tell us our maximum, minimum. These 5 values together, Q0 through Q4, those are known as our 5-number summary. And so we're going to come back to this heights example, but I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all how to do something like this, or kind of what this means. So this, I already have my 5-number summary listed, and these grades, I have them in order, are from my pre-cal test the following Friday in numerical order. So we can kind of see where they range from. I can look at my lowest grade was a 53, my highest grade was 100. And then if we look at the minimum, I have that listed right here. That is my, the lowest grade in the class was a 53. That's what that represents. And then my Q1 value, when I calculated that, that's the median of my lower half. That is an 81. That was an 81. And I will say that the quartile values, if you do these by hand, depending on the data set, you may come up with something that's different than what Google Sheets is going to tell you. It has been quite a headache for me figuring out why that is. I can figure out how to get it to be right, but I don't really care about it that much to have y'all do it this way, because it's a couple extra steps to do it. Without going too much into detail, I'm coming up with this 5-number summary by Google Sheets, not by hand. If I did it by hand, depending on if it's an even or odd number data set, they may or may not be consistent with how we do it by hand. So anybody that's taken statistics and test this out, you may come and see I'm getting something different in Google Sheets, which is what I did. And anyways, so our Q1 value is 81. If we look where 81 is, that is approximately 25%. A grade of an 81 is approximately 25% of the class earned a test grade less than 81, or 75% earned a grade higher than 81. And so if we look where that bar is, look at how that data is distributed, and we can see that, yeah, if I divided this into 4 evenly parts, approximately equal, I would say 25% would be less than that, and 75% would be more than that. If we look at where our median value is, 88, that's right in here. So I'm just going to line that up here. Half of our values, our grades are less, and half of those are more. So half the class made less than an 88, half the class made more. Our Q3 value, 93.5, that falls in between 93 and 95. And how we would interpret or speak that out, approximately 75% of the class earned a test grade less than 93.5, or 25% of the class grade earned a grade higher than that. And then our Q4 is the highest grade in the class was a 100. And you could have multiple 100s, but still the highest grade is a 100. So that was just kind of showing the interpretation of that. Now we're going to calculate the 5-number summary of our heights data set. So in your Chromebook, we're going to go to the heights thing that we did yesterday and create and format headers labeled min, Q1, median, Q3, max, and then write formulas and calculate each part of the 5-number summary. So it's going to look something like this. So at the top, probably next to where we did the mean and median, we're going to do the mean and median again. Hold on. We're going to do we're going to do the median again, because we're going to put it with our 5-number summary so it's nice and neat. I'm going to go over to my screen real quick. When you finish, you should have something that looks like this. I don't know why mine, maybe it's the TV, because it's on my TV and I can't really see it that well, but mine cuts off at J. So I'm going to go here and right click, and I'm going to insert some columns to the right so I can get some more columns. I need 5 of them. So insert to the right, insert to the right. I'm going to put a space between, so I'm going to start right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do one more. Insert column to the right. Okay, and then up at the top, I'm going to go in between here and here. I'm going to merge these cells together. And I'm going to type in 5-number summary. Uh, 5-number summary. I'm going to make that consistent with my other headers up here. Did I already merge those? I think I did. Okay, it's not. I'm gonna have to manually drag that out a little bit. Okay. All right. So here I'm gonna go ahead and type in. You can type in Q's, or I'm gonna type in min. Right here, I'm gonna type in Q1 median, Q3, and max, like this. And I'm going to go ahead and format these as well. I'm going to make those a little bit bigger, but not the same size. Center them a little bit. I'm going to do blue this time here and make the font white. Make them bold. Put borders around them. And then auto align. Oh gosh, that first one always does that. I may have to redo this one more time. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to actually calculate this. So going back to our notes, what we just said, that's our minimum is going to be minimum, and I'm going to do parentheses and select the range of what I want to find the minimum from. And we should be able to see it right here, right? Here I'm going to do quartile, and I want to select the range that I want. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to go back and click on this because I need to add a comma. So I'm going to put a comma 1 for my first quartile. You can do Q2 or you can do median. I'm going to do median again. Actually, I'm going to do whatever I had. Did I not do my averages for this yet? I thought I did. Since I already have my median right here, if I just do equal G3, where that is, I don't have to retype that. But why is this not in here? Equals, let me do this real quick. Average. Oh, because it's in the cell above it. Sorry. This median, I want to be this cell right here. So I'm going to say G2. I already have that. Okay. Equals quartile. Select our range here. At the top, I'm going to go up at the top and type in comma. This is my third quartile. And then finally, equals max. And I want the max of this. Okay, so that's my 5-number summary for the boys' height, boys' 5-number summary. This should be what the girls looks like. Range is also something that we look at when it comes to measuring spread, like how far apart your data is from the maximum to the minimum. So I'm going to go find I'm going to find the range by doing the max minus min. So I'm just going to pull up my thing and say how to do that. Let me go back to this. So that's just max minus min. So I'm going to go switch to my monitor, to my spreadsheet. I'm going to do it right here. So I'll do range. I'm going to make this the same kind of deal as I have up there. All right. Here, I'm going to do my max and my min. So this all this data is talking about the boy's height in inches. So the maximum boy's height is 78. I'm going to click on this cell, minus the minimum, which is from this cell. Hit enter, and we get a range of 17. So there's 17 inches in between the shortest and the tallest person with boys on this sheet. Okay. So that is for the range. And we also need to know how to find quartiles in order to calculate the IQR. So what the IQR is it's called the interquartile range, and it measures the spread of the middle half of your data. So this is where 50% of your data value lies. So and the way you calculate that is by Q3 minus Q1. We're going to do this the same way. So 50%, half of your data value lies within here, and it's close to the median. So this is an important calculation. We use IQR to assess the variability where most of our values lie. Large IQR values indicate that the central portion of your data is spread out further. This is from your notes. And smaller IQR values show that the middle values cluster together more tightly. So next to range in our Google Sheets, we're going to write IQR just like we just got done doing. And then we're going to write our formula to calculate the IQR. Okay, I've got mine formatted to look the same. I need to bring that over a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to do equals, and my calculation was Q3 minus Q1. So whatever cell that is in, Q3 minus Q1, hit enter. And so the height ranges between the middle 50% of our data is only within 4 inches of each other. So between 68 and 72 inches. In other words, 50% of our data lies between 68 and 72 inches tall. Okay, so at the plus button at the bottom of your sheet, we're going to create a separate sheet to do practice on. We already did this. I don't know why this is on here twice. We already had the practice sheet. So we're going to do the same thing again, and we're going to calculate the 5-number summary. So hang tight. Okay, so I copied mine underneath and did lower and upper outliers. And if I look at my data value, 62, anything less than 62, is what I got. Let me make sure I did that one right. J3. Okay, so 61 inches, we do have an outlier. Anything less than that, anything greater than 78. So we do have an outlier for boys inches, 61. And 78, we can see that from our 5-number summary, 78, that is right on the boundaries. So 79 inches would be considered an outlier, or 78.5 inches. Okay, so you can kind of use that to compare where you're at in a data set. I'm going to go back over to my practice sheet, and we're going to kind of do the same thing. So what is the 5-number summary for this data sheet? We should go to our practice and just fill those in. When we're done, we should see that we should get something like this. If I type those in real quick, I have 34, 1, 13, 89, 3, 5, 8, 1, 21, 0, 55, 2. And by the way, these numbers are the water quality, the fecal coliform and bacterial counts from 12 different Ohio lakes. So the 5-number summary for those different lakes are as follows. The range of this data, I can see that from looking at my Google Sheet. It's 89. The IQR for this data is 22.5. And are there any outliers? I'm looking for anything above 58 or below negative 32. And I do have data value above that, 89. So don't swim in that lake, whatever that is. Same thing here. We can go ahead and plug these in real quick. Just check. But I mean, If your spreadsheet's fine, then you should be able to get this. This has no outliers. And that is what we have for today.